It's as the first day of December. It is the first day of the Christmas challenge that I'm doing. Big Talk, the big Christmas reset. And the first challenge is to learn something outside of your natural field of interests. When we have interests, we tend to be obsessed with the things that we love, but we don't necessarily open up to things that are not, our own interests. So sometimes we might block our friends, our family from talking about the things that they like because we want to talk about the things that we like. But if you watch some of the shows like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, that's one example. One of these talk shows where people go to win money based on their knowledge. They get asked the most random questions, and sometimes they find the answers to these most random questions because they've listened to something on the radio, they've watched something on TV, they have learned something at school many years ago, and now they're realizing, holy shit, I know this because I paid attention when I was at school. I paid attention when I was with my friends. I listened to that podcast because someone recommended it to me. Curiosity is something that we get to develop over time, and it's not something that goes away. If we want to stay curious, we can find ways to boost that curiosity, and there isn't a limit to the information that you can learn, to the topics that you can explore. There isn't something that's blocking you from being curious at all times. And sometimes we are asked to approach life with that curiosity, even if it's a situation that we've already been through. Maybe you have a friend coming forward and they're saying, can you help me with this? And you automatically think to yourself, I've already been there. I'm going to share what worked for me, instead of listening to their situation and seeing maybe you've learned something between the time that you actually went through that situation, and asking, the universe to guide you, asking your higher self. If people are approaching you for advice, there must be a reason that they feel called to ask for your help. But the purpose of this life is to turn to a playful practice that is tarot cards. Tarot cards are not to guide you to the future. They're to guide you to co-create. What's the kind of future that you want to create? Maybe you get the first card is this one. Maybe the universe is saying to you, you need to communicate with your friends. And there's something in you that's saying, well, I don't feel comfortable sharing this with people at the moment. Maybe the universe is saying the next card is, now is the time for you to be the most creative person that you've ever been. Are you comfortable sharing your creations with the world? And you say, no, I don't want that. Okay, next attempt for creativity. This is the Magician, the next card that comes out. And the universe is saying to you, well, now is the time for you to dream big. Are you comfortable dreaming big? And this is you exploring your own limits, exploring your own curiosity, creativity, and co-creating with the universe, because everything is possible. You are a limitless being. And so when we use tarot as a practice, you can use normal cards, you can create your own cards, you can create your own positive affirmations and make a play out of your everyday, because the purpose of curiosity and creativity is to add more fun, is to add more spontaneity, is to add more connectedness to everything that is around you, to the people that are around you. So what is blocking you from being curious at the moment? Let's see. What is blocking you from being curious at the moment? And the way that you can practice with tarot is by just separating the deck. You can pick a random card. You can do whatever you want to do, as long as you have fun in the process. As I said, using tarot cards and using knowledge seeking as a way to control the situations is not going to bring you more curiosity. It's about you allowing yourself to see what's being revealed to you every single day. But we have one card that came out, and this is the King of Swords. So usually what blocks us from being curious and creative explorers of the world is us thinking we have all the answers. This is the most practical, the most logical card of the deck. The King of Swords is somebody who thinks they have it all figured out because they have experience, because they have been tasked with things in the world. So what usually stops us from being curious and being creative is our own big ego. And how do you overcome your own ego? You get curious about, why do you act the way that you're acting? Why are you saying the things that you're saying? Why are you believing in the things that you're believing? you have to make self-discovery fun. If you are not having fun getting to know yourself, then it doesn't matter how many people you befriend, how many communities you attend, how many events you go to, how many cities you travel. If you cannot find a way to enjoy your own company and to find a way to be a beginner every single day, that curiosity, that creativity is always going to be blocked by your own limitations. When you say, well, I don't do this, well, I'm not that person, this is who I am. You have to be able to break free from your own limitations. You have to be able to break free from the idea of the person that you think you are in order to become the next version of yourself. Because if your potential is limitless, then any version that you adhere to is temporary. We don't live forever. So if we are limitless, your potential is limitless, and you are being called out for your stubbornness to remain stuck to a particular version, what the universe is saying to you is, there is more. There is more potential that wants to be channeled from you, but you have to be curious. You have to be curious, what more is there for me? How can I explore all that I am? How can I have fun in the process? Because it's not that serious. I mean, getting called out big time. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get a lot of signs from the universe before we actually pay attention sometimes, and that's the beauty of these confirmations and these synchronicities. It means that it's time for us to finally do it, because this is the first card that came out. This is the King of Swords, who's very logical, who's very practical, who's very fixed mindset. The next card that comes out is this, the Wheel of Fortune. So imagine that as somebody who's very fixed mindset, somebody who is sticking to the version they've created for themselves, and they're very proud of themselves, because this is still somebody with very high status, whether it's their mental status, whether it's, you know, their achievements in the world, whether they're a business owner, an entrepreneur, but they're opening up to more. And that's what happens when you realize there is more in the world, in your community. There is more projects that you can create. There are more people that you can meet. There are more people that you can collaborate with. What happens is you start to unlock more of that curiosity, more of that creativity. You start to dream bigger. And when we replace the fixed mindset with the abundance mindset, the sky is the limit. There's a saying, the sky is the limit. So when we have allowed ourselves to dream bigger than the person that we are today, we can start moving towards that person. And if you look at these cards, very beautiful. This is somebody who's climbed the mountain. This is somebody who's on top of the mountain already. And this is a person who's realizing, I can climb higher. And I don't have to sacrifice who I am. I get to unlock more of who I am, because I am allowing myself to admit to myself, first of all, that there is more. I'm allowing myself to break free from certain maybe taboos that I've accepted as, you know, a certain dogmas. You know, if you think about spirituality, if you think about politics, if you think about religion, these are they create a lot of polarities in the world. You have people that support the left, or people that support the light, people that support the light or the dark, and these are people that are willing to go to war because they support the polarities. But when we realize that, first of all, we're all one, and second of all, we're not here to fight one another. We're here to expand. We're here to not only climb to the top of the mountain, but to realize that once we've reached the top, we're going to expand our mindset, because we can see from a higher perspective. We're not just seeing the mountain anymore. We're seeing the whole world, because we're on top of the mountain. And we're seeing how insignificant the everyday worries and anxieties and fears are. Because once you climb the mountain, once you launch the business, you complete the project, you organize your art gallery, show, once you complete the big milestones and you cross the finish line, you realize that's not going to make me happy. If I'm not already happy and I'm not channeling that happiness outwardly from within, nothing from the outside world is going to make me happy. It's up to me to find that joy within me and to bring that into the situations. Maybe you realize after, you know, climbing the mountain, that it was never about climbing the mountain. It was for you to discover that you can break free from whatever limitations that you've set so that you can go into rooms and inspire other people. And that is the power of curiosity. Curiosity takes us perhaps to the top of the mountain, to, you know, these creations that we're able to put to our name so that we can go out into the world and inspire other people. This is a very beautiful set of cards, but the first card is the King of Swords. Someone who's very logical, somebody who perhaps have a bit of restrictions when it comes to their emotional or spiritual growth, and then they're starting to believe. And the next card that comes out is this one, the King of Wands. So this is somebody who is approaching the spiritual enlightenment, but it's not to say that this person is reaching the level of a monk. This is somebody who is able to tap into that potential that is perhaps a little bit locked when you're operating just with your mindset. But when you kind of unlock your heart, when you unlock your creativity, when you unlock your creative side, you can tap into this version of yourself that is not only believing in the abundance mindset, but somebody who is abundant into everything that they do. And the King of Wands it's probably one of the most curious energies in the entire set of the, you know, tarot cards. When we are allowing ourselves to dream a brighter, bigger version, we only are rising higher in the eyes of others as well. Because if you look into the image of this, and if you think of this, the Lion King, the animation, the Lion King, you know, there's a reason we say the lion is the king of the jungle, because lions are not the loudest animals usually. They're very protective. They have a very strong presence, very strong charisma. And when they need to be protective, they will fight. But they're allowing their humbleness, their humble nature to insert their dominance into the world. And you're allowing yourself to lead the way with your energy. You're allowing yourself to co-create with the universe a little bit more, because once you break free from the mental limitations and you open your heart a little bit more, you open your creativity, your passionate side, you're allowing yourself to follow your passion a little bit. So one example would be, if society is telling you need to launch a business with cryptocurrencies because that's where you're going to find your success. That is the mental, that is the mindset, that is the logic. But if you say to yourself, what is it that I've been passionate my whole life? And it could be trains. This is the first example that comes to mind. It could be art. You are applying all the knowledge that you have, all the entrepreneurial spirit that you have, but you're combining it with that passion. You're combining it with something that comes very natural to you, because we each have gifts that are our own. And when we are restricted to, you know, what society is telling us, we're following the logical path, we're going to reach the top of the mountain and we might find ourselves unhappy with who we are, not with the results. We're going to reach the mountain, we're going to achieve the success, but sometimes we're going to understand that we were never supposed to make it to the mountain, climb to the top of the mountain, the meaning of our life. We were supposed to make our growth the meaning of our life, to be able to channel that optimism, that enthusiasm, that joy, the meaning of our life, so that we can bring this version of ourselves everywhere we go. Because if you're operating from this eternal state of joy, every person that you meet, when they meet you, when they interact with you, they're gonna feel some of that joy. And that is one of the greatest powers of this version, the King of Wands. This is somebody who is very much led, or it's leading his own life through the lens of passion, through the lens of joy, through the lens of love, through the lens of, this is what excites me, this is what I'm going to pursue, and this is what I want to share with the world. This is what I want to create into the world to inspire the next generations. And I think this is the biggest comparison when it comes to these two energies. And you're going to find people like that everywhere you go in the world. You're going to find some very practical, idea-oriented people. You know, the King of Swords, the swords is the mental energy. So this is the energy of the air, This is the energy of the big picture thinkers. This is the energy of the communicators. And sometimes they need to be pragmatic. We need to be pragmatic in order to break down these big dreams and follow the steps that are being revealed to us. But if we're not able to be honest with ourselves, this is the blue, the throat chakra. It does not matter how high we go, how much we succeed in life. And you can watch all kinds of famous people say the same thing. They have pursued fame, they have pursued success as a way to distract themselves. And usually what happens is when you succeed, you are still being tasked with the same, challenge to face yourself, to do the inner work. And when it comes to the King of Wands, this is somebody who has spent a little bit more time exploring their passion and leading from that passionate space, even if they have to be in the middle of the desert alone, just with, this lion. That is just an example. And even in, some of the most inspirational stories that we, even in the biblical stories, the people that brought the biggest changes in the world, in the universe, they had to be separated from the pack. And the lion does not really spend time with other people. The lion can hold his own domain. The lion is a respected animal, and when you are able to stand your ground and say, this is who I am because I've spent the time getting to know who I am. It's not about my results. It's not about my businesses, because I can close one business and start another business. I can complete one project and start the other project. I can leave one room, one building, one city, one community, and enter another one, because I know who I am, because I've spent that time with curiosity, getting to know who I am. I can channel that same version wherever I go. And that is the power of curiosity. When you are able to use every single day as an opportunity to get to know yourself. We have the next card, which is the Four of Pentacles. The four is symbolic of the subconscious mind, of our heritage, of exploring our roots. When you are not intimidated by applying that same curiosity that you have for the outside world to your own inner world and to your own family tree and exploring your roots, you're able to discover things about who you are that you can apply for your own success. So sometimes the quietest people in the world are not quiet because they don't have anything to say. They're quiet because they're understanding there is nothing for them to say that would add something in this situation, because every day is an opportunity for you to learn and for you to discover. And sometimes the learning happens in the silence, when you're observing, when you're listening to the guidance that your higher self is leading you to, or your spirit team, or the universe. Sometimes the intuitive messages happen in the middle of a big chaotic space, when you're able to tap into an energy that allows you to see the situation from a different point of view, that allows you to see that you have always had what you need in order to succeed, that these seeds, these are creative seeds, these are ideas, that you are holding the ideas with you wherever you go. And that power, the silent power, is not something that you need to announce. And when you apply that curiosity to your own life every single day, you stop competing with other people, because you realize that all of this is a learning experience. We're meant to learn, and sometimes we're meant to learn with one another. Sometimes we're meant to learn on our own. And when we get separated from people, it's not a punishment always. It's sometimes a moment for us to integrate what we've learned, because curiosity gets channeled in different ways. Ooh, we've got Five of Cups. Sometimes what blocks us from being curious is this healing process that happens when we've been disappointed, when we've experienced pain, and we get sucked into the vortex of the past. That is a very beautiful, visualization of what happens when somebody breaks your heart, when somebody disappoints you, when you kind of align with a version of yourself that is disappointed perpetually, and you kind of repeat the same mental narrative. We're being led back to the King of Swords. It's about allowing yourself to see that every experience that happens in your life happens for a reason. And we wouldn't be able to appreciate joy if we didn't experience pain. We're going back to the polarities, light and dark. good and bad, pain and joy. Pain can give us the same amount of insight that joy can give us. And in fact, it's much easier to stay in this state of pain because we've been conditioned to live in a world. If you look around, you're going to see a lot of pain in the world. It's what you do with that pain. Can you be curious while you're down before you go up? Can you be curious while you're at your lowest? Can you remain curious as to why you're experiencing heartbreak the way that you're experiencing it? Because when you're on top of the world, you're probably not going to have that much time to integrate information, to remain curious, because you're going to be experiencing all kinds of beautiful experiences with beautiful people and beautiful communities. And sometimes we're being led to heal ourselves before the biggest breakthroughs so that we can channel this version of ourselves that is optimistic, that is joyful, that is wise. Because we wouldn't be able to have wisdom if we only experience good things. We would be living on the surface. Unfortunately, pain is one of the greatest teachers because it brings us closer within. It brings us closer to our roots, and it takes us to cycles that perhaps our ancestors couldn't complete, cycles that our parents couldn't complete. If you go back the family trees and you examine what your grandparents did, what your parents did as family dynamics, and you think to yourself, what is my role in this family line? How can I bring change to this family line? Maybe your grandparents moved from a small city to a big city, and that was them breaking the cycle of living in a small city. Maybe your parents started their own business, so they were the first business owners in your family. Maybe your parents were the first millionaires in your family line. You know, every generation breaks a cycle from the past. Maybe it's a lack mindset cycle. Maybe it's, you know, a cycle of manipulation. Maybe, you know, sometimes we don't understand that we have these toxic tendencies within our family line until we approach that self-discovery with curiosity. And in the process of being curious about where we come from, we understand what we're meant to bring with our presence. And when our presence is that of, I'm going to be a curious adventurer, I'm going to be somebody who uses every single day to learn something new about myself, about the world around me, and curiosity is allowing me to tap into more of my potential so that I can encourage that curiosity wherever I go. Maybe you're a teacher and curiosity is your way of inspiring the younger generations to keep learning, to keep studying. It's not just about what you do, it's about the example that you set for other people, because there are people that are looking up to you. Even if you don't realize it, there are people that are constantly meeting you for the first time. There are people that are meeting you every single day, and they cannot wait to be in your presence because of your energy, because of your optimism. And if curiosity is one of your talents, one of your skills, one of your gifts, you will get to create these opportunities for knowledge exchange. You'll get to create these opportunities for collaboration, for being able to leave something of substance, something of value to people that come after you in the places that you've been to. Maybe you are a new starter at your role and you're realizing, hey, I know how I can make the processes in this company better. This is you applying curiosity. This is you applying creativity. This is you bringing change because you are committed to leading your life in a different way. Let's see if there's something else that is blocking you from being curious right now. What is blocking your curiosity right now? The sun. When we allow ourselves to be curious, we understand that it doesn't matter if we're higher, if we're lower, if we go up or down. We channel that curiosity wherever we go. And I know that with these cards, we love to be on top. We love to be on top of the world, like that song goes, I'm on top of the world. Who doesn't like being successful? Who doesn't like being happy? But the reality is, if we were just on top, it would still be a flat line. If you think about children that are born into very wealthy families, their life is very sugar-coated. It's almost like they're flatlining on this very sweet flat line, but they're lacking the experience. You cannot embody this energy if you don't go through some of the disappointing experiences, if you don't go through some of the pain, if you don't do some of the inner reflection, if you don't apply some of that curiosity that is outward, inward first. This is energetic presence. If you think about the biggest innovators in the world, these are people that led their lives with curiosity. What if I try this? What if I change this? But they didn't just sit around and wait for life to magically happen for them. They applied action every single day. I think this is one of the biggest misconceptions about creativity and success, is that you just embody this mindset. I'm going to be creative, I'm going to be successful, and things are going to work out for me. Creativity, curiosity, these are choices. You show up every single day and you apply actions. For you to reset your luck is for you to apply daily actions into the direction where you want to go. And this is quite symbolic of the North Star that can be found when you read your natal birth chart and you discover where you should invest your energy and your time. But curiosity is not just about the mindset. Curiosity is about the action. Today's challenge is learn something that is outside of your field of interests. So last year I learned something about physics, because me and physics, we don't go along, which is a little bit of ironic, because now I love quantum physics and I love exploring that. Maybe today I'll learn something about sports, because I don't particularly follow sports, but maybe something that I learn in that small action that has taken me outside of my comfort zone is going to lead me to an opportunity where I'm conversating with someone in the future, perhaps a future collaborator, perhaps a future leader that I'm meant to inspire, or they're meant to inspire me, where I have this tiny bit of information that I can apply in the conversation. It's our actions, it's our daily actions. And when we have this mindset, let me see where this is taking me, let me see what I can do today to reset my luck for the better. Yes, there is power in surrendering. Sometimes we get out of energy and we need to recharge. And that is the power of going out in nature. That is the power of you taking in some extra sunshine. But if you're just waiting around and waiting for these ideas that you're carrying to be developed, these plans, these projects, that's not going to happen. You need to be the one that shows up every single day and does something. And the power of being creative, intentionally creative every single day, is that you are excited about doing these steps, because you're allowing yourself to think, I am in control of resetting my own energy today. Maybe I don't control what's going to happen in the weather outside. Maybe I don't control how people are going to react to whatever I post about, or the meeting that I'm leading today at work, but I am in control of how I show up into the world. And that is the power of embracing curiosity and embracing creativity. It's self-empowerment. It is truly the shift that happens between this energy of the King of Swords and this energy of the King of Wands. There's less layer to protect you, almost, because you're not relying just on your achievements. You're not relying just on these levels of knowledge, but sometimes you're just relying on this curiosity, this curious spirit. Let me be the adventurer that goes out into the world and sees, where is this taking me? Where is this taking me? And if you look at the Sun card as well, there is no baggage. When you are allowing yourself to be creative, when you're allowing yourself to be curious, you are showing up and you are doing the actions that are being revealed to you, but you're just showing up for the adventure. And that is the power of curiosity. You are embracing every single day as this opportunity to explore and to test new concepts, to experiment. And maybe you're always in social media and you need to test, the A/B testing. You change something in the title with the version A and you change something in the description in the version B, and you see which one is performing better. Or you change the images. This is how you should look at your own life. Day 1, you show up doing these 5 habits. Day 2, you do 5 other habits, and that's your A/B testing. How did you feel when you showed up and you did 5 habits in the first day, and how did you feel when you showed up and you did 5 habits in the second day? Maybe you're experimenting with the knowledge that you're learning. So, day one, you're listening to a podcast about sports. Day two, you're listening to a podcast about politics. Day three, you're listening to a podcast about spirituality. And you're testing how are you feeling. You're bringing it back to your inner world. You're bringing it back to, when I engage with this content, did it bring me new inspiration? Did it bring me new ideas? Did it bring me the motivation that I needed in order for me to start actually working on these seeds? Because these are the seeds that you're meant to plant, and they're metaphorical seeds. These are ideas that you have. These are your projects. These are your childhood dreams. If you return back to what you wanted to do when you were younger, when you were still exploring all the possibilities before, the real life said to you, you need to be practical, you need to be logical, you need to create this 50-year plan. When you are able to look at the world as a series of possibilities, you're able to recognize that it's your creative attitude, it's your creative ability to transform the everyday. The Seven of Cups, the choice is yours, and the guidance really is to not be distracted by the outside world this much. Use everything that is outside to explore it, to borrow inspiration from it, but the outside elements are not going to complete you. They're not going to add more value to you, because you are already of value, because you're already of the essence of this sunshine. And even this is your luck. Like, you're already the person that has the power to reset your own luck. It's your actions, it's your attitude, it's your mindset, it's your heart posture. And it's quite interesting that this is the Seven of Cups, which is the emotional card, which is, are you allowing the outside circumstances to affect your emotional state? Because if you were to borrow inspiration from the outside world, that is amazing. But if you're expecting for the outside world to manage your emotional state on your behalf, you're going to be disappointed. Because the purpose of curiosity is to go out and explore. It's to learn. It's to collect data. You enter different rooms, you enter different relationships, different partnerships, and you're collecting data. That's your consciousness. Your consciousness is a database of collected data over the years. And the more you look within for that groundedness, this is who I am, I know who I am. When you approach the outside world, it's almost that you shift your mindset from, what is this going to give me? What is this person going to give me? What is this job going to give me? As to, what can I give to this person or to this job or to this partnership? And that is how you shift the narrative, where you empower yourself. You're not saying, I'm a victim and I need inspiration. I need someone to give me the curiosity, someone to give me the inspiration, somebody to give me the strength. You shift the narrative to, I am the person that brings inspiration. I am the person that brings curiosity into every situation that I go through. And this is kind of how I connect with others as well. 7 is also the number of partnerships. So if you are looking for somebody to complete you, instead of you looking for ways that you can bring something to others with your presence, that is how you channel that curiosity. And you might recognize this pattern that people don't know how to ask for help, because we've all been kind of outsourcing our emotional state, the management of our emotional state. When we're balanced, we can approach others with curiosity, and we can actually listen to what they have to say. We can create this safe space for them to be who they are. And the world at the moment is kind of divided between the empaths who are providing that emotional management because they know how to create space, how to hold space for others, and the people that just want to almost unload, but they're not unloading ideas, they're unloading burdens. Imagine a world where everybody had learned how to master their emotional state, and they approached life, they approached partnerships, they approached their own self-discovery as this endless pursuit of curiosity. We would all get together and say, I have ideas and I want to share them. Maybe we can collaborate. Imagine a world where, we didn't wait for people to come and save us, but we were saving ourselves and creating these testimonies almost to inspire the next wave. Imagine this world where everybody is able to unlock their inner king and their inner queen, and they're able to protect the younger generations that are just tapping into that power, because we're all meant to be aligning, we're all meant to align with our own power, with our own light, channel that into the world, and then inspire the next generations. And when we are lacking protectors, we are lacking the ability to move that light from the torch that we're holding to the next generations. And curiosity has to play a role in this. Are you curious about how to be a better leader? Are you curious about how to transfer your knowledge, how to create content that educates other people? Somebody made a joke on TikTok earlier this week that the content that gets promoted on TikTok is that of mindless consumption. So you might have seen that there's a lot more marketplace posts and people being paid to promote these items that just don't bring any value. Yes, they're cheap, but they don't bring any value. And the content that actually teaches you how to be a leader, how to do things, the free educational content that you see on TikTok, which is why many of us love to be on TikTok, because we learn things. I've learned more about how to take care of my mental health, my physical health from TikTok than I have from school. But most of this mindset, how to be a leader in your life, is kind of blocked from most people. Most people don't even understand that they have the option to be a leader in their own life. Most people are not even considering the possibility that their presence is Professor Snape, I love that. Most people are not even considering the idea that they can be people that inspire others. Most people are kind of in this state because they don't realize that the curiosity is there for them to become, to free themselves from these burdens and become this. But we're not here to talk about what people are not doing. We're here to talk about you and what you can do. Let's do one more card. And I love that this is kind of the last card. This is the Knight of Wands. And it kind of resonates with what I was saying just now. Most people are stuck here. Most people don't know how to let go of the past, how to let go of the resentment, how to let go of the wounds. They don't know how to forgive. They don't know how to change their perspective around some of the experiences they've gone through and say, I'm grateful. Things happened. They weren't pleasant, but I've released them. I've purified my spirit, and this is where I am right now. I'm able to share my experiences. I'm able to let go of that which no longer serves me, that was weighing me down, because I understand it was meant to teach me emotional intelligence. It was meant to unlock something in me that I would not have been able to unlock unless I was down, unless I was separated, unless I was almost divided from myself. Because in order for people to disappoint us, we need to first allow them the power, the trust, the access to us. And when we give access to people that are not aligned with our soul, they bring us to this emotional state, which is out of disappointment. But when we're able to shift that to gratitude, to appreciation, I'm grateful that it happened, because it taught me things that now I can pass on to other people. When we're able to break free from this and step into this energy, we're able to channel the Knight of Wands, which is a very powerful energy. This is somebody who is able to tap into their passion and create from that place of curiosity. Somebody who's able to create from that ability to tap into the limitlessness that we all hold. And there's a lot of fire in this set of cards. We started the cards with this King of Swords, who's very logical, and perhaps somebody who's becoming a little bit more honest with themselves. They might be saying, do you know what? I think there is more. I think I've missed on a couple of lessons, but I am willing to be curious. I'm willing to go back and explore. And that is how they're able to reset that energy, reset their own luck, and rediscover the pieces that were lost. And since there is a duality in all of us, there is a masculinity and a femininity in us. The masculine energy is that of the logical thinking, of the leadership, as in action-oriented leadership. And the feminine is that of, I'm just going to go and jam with my energy. And when we're able to balance this within ourselves, when we're able to be the leaders that are powerful, that we lead with these empowering words of encouragement into the world, but also we're able to retreat back into our feminine energy and spend hours just creating these beautiful art pieces or poems or even projects that are meant for the office, these presentations that have our authenticity, because that is more of the feminine energy of creativity and intuition. We're able to present a new version out into the world, a version that is not only outstanding and shining bright, but a version that is able to shift the narrative wherever you go. So don't underestimate the power of being curious with your own journey, self-growth journey, and the power of applying that curiosity towards your inner work. Let's do one more card. How can we adopt more of a curiosity-led living going forward? The Nine of Pentacles. Part of the curiosity-led living is not just in you showing up to read and learn, but it's also about you sharing what you've learned and kind of continuing that process of shipping the information forward. So if you think of LinkedIn as one of the platforms where people are posting daily, some of that content isn't original, but it's because people are showing up and posting every single day. The algorithm is promoting that content. Well, what if you started sharing your own ideas, your own creative ideas onto platforms like LinkedIn? That is a way that you're practicing curiosity because you're learning, you're experimenting, but you're also building your ideas and you're shipping them out into the world. You're sharing your thoughts, you're sharing your projects, you're sharing your beliefs. And this is how the algorithm starts to promote more of the original ideas, because you are realizing that curiosity is guiding you to learning more about the world, learning more about yourself, but also building that courage to show up for yourself and to show up for the world. Because the idea of us shipping these messages out into the world, doesn't matter if you're a motivational speaker, if you're just very committed to your career and you want to inspire the next wave, you've learned a lot and you want to share it, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a tarot reader, whether you're a podcaster, there is a certain amount of courage that is required for you to show up and share these messages. But something beautiful happens when you do. People tune in and watch you. People connect because of you, because of something that you've posted, something that you've said. People create connections through you. They don't even have to speak to you. They unite in the comments section, or they mention your name in a room that you haven't been in. And they say, did you see what this person posted? Have you checked that podcast? Have you listened to this? Have you heard about this? People are forming connections because of the knowledge that you believed in, because of an idea that you believed in and you shared it, you shipped it. And sometimes it's not even about you believing that your idea is going to change the world. It's about you believing that you are changing the world with your presence, with your dedication to creativity and curiosity. And I keep saying creativity as well as curiosity in this life, because I think curiosity inevitably leads to creativity. The more curious you are about the world, the more you start to believe that you can invent the next big thing. The more you start to experiment with things, and the more likely you are to actually become that person that builds something for others to be inspired, builds something for others to empower themselves. If you look at the career paths of coaches, they've gone through the ups and downs in life, and they've realized that whatever version of life they were living before they committed to being coaches, before they committed to experimenting with their lifestyle, wasn't working. So they thought, I'm going to find my own recipe and I'm going to share it with others. I'm going to see what works for me, and I'm going to revamp it so that I can apply it to other people's paths, because I want to help people. And I think inevitably curiosity, when applied daily, leads to both courage and creativity. And when you have that curious spirit, guiding you to help others, amazing things happen. So take the time to tap into your passions. Take the time to discover what excites you. What is it that you want to learn more about? But also, don't be afraid to change your mindset. Don't be afraid to change your points of view. Just because you believed in something for 10 years and suddenly you found something that kind of shifts your mindset, allow yourself to break free from the fixed mindset so that you can embody this fearless person that goes out into the world and goes onto these adventures and says, do you know what? I was wrong. I learned something today that challenged me, but because of it, because I allowed myself to explore it, to be curious about it, I've learned something new. I've grown from the experience. I've expanded as a human being. I am more equipped now to relate to other people because I was curious. And because I allowed myself to break free from the fixed mindset, I am more into alignment with the abundance mindset. And what happens when we're abundant? We reset our own energy. We reset our own luck. We allow ourselves to be guided, divinely guided from the universe. Because if you think about luck, when we say that something was lucky, that it was down to luck, it means that we did not expect it. It was not predictable, or the odds weren't very high, but we trusted. We allowed ourselves to explore the possibility that something majestic might happen. And that is the power of creativity as well as curiosity. And all creative people know this. When they show up and the blank canvas is staring at them, whether they're writers or painters, they're allowing the curiosity to take them where it needs to take them so that they can ground the vision, whether that vision has already been created or that vision is being co-created at the moment. And it has to do with you believing that you are already making a difference in the world. But how much more can you impact the world if you showed up with the intention to learn every single day, to be curious every single day, and also allowed yourself to explore topics and options and points of view from people that maybe you don't even like. When we allow ourselves to explore why people are acting the way that they're acting, we can learn something from them. Doesn't mean that you agree with them, but you're allowing yourself to see them as humans. You're allowing yourself to see them as people that you can learn something from, because everybody has something to teach us the same way we have something to teach others. So stay curious. This is day one of the big reset. You can go into my bio and get a free journal to support that curiosity and that creativity. The big Christmas reset is on. Get the free journal from my bio, and I will be coming live and getting some guests as well in the next 24 days as the big Christmas countdown is on. Thank you for watching and have a lovely evening or afternoon wherever you are in the world.